Yorokoto, welcome. Thank you for your patience, your consideration at this unusual time in our world. My intention is to offer you this practice tonight with Facebook and leaving that up till sometime tomorrow. Next week, I hope to be able to access this the YouTube platform, and what I will do in that circumstance is leave the practice up with a link for a week, and then the following week I will change it. And my intention is to offer that ongoing to health professionals. You're welcome to share, and maybe it can be some support for people at this time. So here we are, doing something new. You might like to take a look around and see where you are, maybe in your home. Just checking that this is a place where you will not be disturbed. You might want the door open or closed. You might like to get a rug for the last part of your practice. If you don't have a mat, sometimes a bath towel can work just as effectively. So maybe a bath towel to do your practice. But maybe looking around and noticing where you are, perhaps noticing what it's like to be in a different environment. I'm noticing it's different here with no one here, although you're there, and I have your faces in my mind. So when you're ready, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground, the surface beneath you. You could do this by looking, or perhaps moving, bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the surface beneath you. Another option could be to use your hand to trace the line where you begin and end. It's an option, it's a choice. Then if you like, maybe sitting up tall, perhaps lengthening your spine. If you like, noticing what this feels like. Perhaps taking a breath. Maybe noticing that you're breathing, that your breath is always with you. Comes and goes, ebbs and flows, and it's always there. Then if you like, perhaps bringing your awareness to your shoulders, maybe moving your shoulders. A couple of options. One could be to bring your fingertips to your shoulders, maybe moving your elbows, maybe forward and back, or perhaps in circles. You get to choose how you want to move. maybe moving your shoulders. And there's a possibility you might feel sensation in your shoulders, or maybe nothing at all. It's quite normal not to feel sensation. Then finding your way back to your neutral, and if you like, bringing your awareness to your head and neck, and maybe bringing your ear to rest on your shoulder, and if you like, moving your head through midline and bringing your ear to rest on your shoulder. Maybe moving your head through midline and bringing your ear to rest on your other shoulder. So that's a choice. Another option could be to bring your chin to your shoulder and maybe dropping your chin to midline, perhaps lifting your chin to your other shoulder. So maybe moving your chin in half circles. So sometimes you might like to try all the options to see what works or is useful for you. Another option could be lifting and lowering your chin. Moving your chin vertically and breathing. Lifting and lowering. And if you're moving your chin, you might feel sensation in your neck. Only a possibility. Finding your way back to neutral. And if you want to explore cats and cows, you could do this from seated, maybe lifting your front torso, maybe lifting your chin and looking up. And in your own time, perhaps tucking your chin, curling your spine and looking down. If you wanted to do this on all fours, perhaps bringing your awareness to notice where you place your hands, maybe lifting and lowering, maybe moving your knees. Bring your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground. Then if you like, dipping your spine, lifting your chin and looking up. And then in your own time, curling your spine, tucking your chin and looking down. So those two movements, you're welcome to put together in your own rhythm. Your own pace, maybe looking down, perhaps looking up, and breathing. Noticing your breath is with you. Maybe coordinating your breathing with your movement. So perhaps breathing in as you move in one direction, maybe breathing out as you move in the opposite direction. So possibly breathing and moving. Finding your way to resting in your own time. Maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands. And if you're seated, you may like to bring your elbows to your knees, or perhaps resting your forehead on your hands. Your choice. So you're welcome to move in your resting form. No requirement to be still. Then when you're ready, maybe finding your way back to all fours. And if you like, experimenting with lifting and lowering your hand, or maybe lifting and lowering your leg, or perhaps lifting and lowering both. bow. So maybe exploring lifting and lowering your arm, maybe lifting and lowering your hand, or both. If you're seated on a chair, maybe lifting and lowering your arm, or lifting and lowering your leg, or perhaps lifting and lowering both. And you might feel some sensation in your abdomen. It's a possibility. So if you like, lifting and lowering. Knowing you're always welcome to stay in the form longer or to come out earlier. So when you're ready, maybe being guided by your body, perhaps moving back into resting form, maybe resting your forehead on your hands and breathing. You might feel the sensation of your breath at your nose or your mouth, or maybe not at all. And that's quite normal. Perhaps noticing that you're breathing. Then if you're interested, maybe moving to explore a lunge, so maybe moving to your kneeling, perhaps stepping 1 foot forward. You might have your hands on your knee, maybe the floor, or possibly out in front. So maybe exploring a lunge. If you're working on a chair, maybe moving to the side of your chair, perhaps using the back for support. And if you like, dropping your knee. Maybe bring your hands to your side, or perhaps out in front, and breathing. So if you like, stepping forward with one of your legs, and in your own time, maybe switching, perhaps exploring this on your other side, knowing that you're always welcome to move in the form. So maybe exploring a lunge and breathing. And, and in your own time, perhaps finding your way back to resting. And breathing. If you're interested, maybe experimenting with taking a deeper breath, or maybe a shallow breath, perhaps noticing what this feels like. You're welcome to be curious, maybe exploring your breath. Then if you like, maybe perhaps coming to all fours. If you like, stepping your hands forward on your mat. Possibly bringing your weight to your hands, maybe lifting your chin and looking up. And in your own rhythm, maybe moving your torso back to your ankles. So if you like, bringing your weight onto your hands, maybe looking up. Maybe moving your torso back to your ankles and breathing. So if you're seated, maybe bringing your hands to your knees, raising your arms. So perhaps leaning forward, bringing hands to your knees, and then raising your arms and breathing. If you like, bringing weight onto your hands, maybe looking up and breathing. Finding your way to resting in your own time. Maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands. Or maybe you want your hands extended. And breathing. So next, if you're interested in exploring downward dog, perhaps coming back to all fours, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground, where you place your hands and knees, perhaps moving, maybe looking. Then if you like, tucking your toes, and maybe one option could be lifting and lowering your knee. Another option could be lifting and lowering both knees. So it's your choice. If it's available to you, maybe lifting and lowering your torso, perhaps bending and straightening your knees, or lifting and lowering your heels. If you want to explore this on a chair, maybe extending your legs, and if you like, raising your arms. Anytime you can lift and lower, and perhaps noticing that you're breathing, that your breath is with you. Finding your way to resting in your own time. Maybe bringing your elbows to your knees, perhaps resting your forehead in your hands. Or if you like, sitting back on your ankles and resting your forehead on your hands. You might like to bring your awareness to notice the sensation of your breath. Maybe it's fast or slow, bumpy or smooth, hot or cold, wet or dry. Perhaps bring your awareness to notice the sensation of your breath. And breathing. Then in your own time, if you like, maybe finding your way to standing. So your expression of standing or seated mountain, whether you're standing or seated, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you place your feet. So perhaps lifting and lowering, maybe looking, perhaps looking at where you place your feet. If you're interested, maybe experimenting with lifting and lowering your toes, or possibly lifting and lowering your heels. Maybe lifting and lowering your toes, maybe lifting and lowering your heels. Possibly finding your balance, your expression of standing or seated mountain. Maybe moving your knees, maybe softening your knees. And in your own time, perhaps standing tall. And if you like, bringing your head to balance on your shoulders. And perhaps taking a moment in stillness. So perhaps noticing what happens when you're still. You might notice the sensation of your breath, and if you do, you may like to take your hand to that part. You might notice the sensation of breath, your breath in your body, maybe your legs, your abdomen, or somewhere else. Another option could be to bring your hand close to your face, and you might feel the sensation of your breath on your hand. It's a possibility. So in your expression of standing or seated mountain, maybe bringing your awareness to notice the sensation of your breath. Then if you like, moving to explore your arms. So perhaps lifting and lowering your arms. You get to choose how you want to do this. Maybe bringing your hands to touch above your head. So if you like, moving your arms and breathing. If you're interested, you could coordinate your breathing with your movement. Maybe breathing in as you move in one direction and breathing out as you move in another. You might like to explore moving your arms and breathing. Guiding yourself back to your neutral in your own time. And if you're interested in leaning to your side, maybe dropping your arm to one side or to your side, maybe lifting your other arm. It's another option. Or if you're interested, maybe bringing hands together and leaning to your side. If you're leaning to your side, you may feel sensation through the side of your torso. It's a possibility. Leaning to your side and breathing. Guiding yourself back to your neutral. A wee bit toasty in here. Excuse me. I put the heater on because I thought it would be cold. So guiding yourself back to your neutral, and if you like, crossing your arms, perhaps bringing your hands to your shoulders. And if it's of interest to you, you may like to experiment with moving your chin. Knowing how much or how fast you move is up to you. Possibly moving your chin and breathing. You might feel the sensation of where your hands make contact with your shoulder. It's a possibility. And when you're ready, maybe switching, perhaps crossing your arms in the opposite direction. And this may feel different. It's a possibility. Maybe moving your chin. And breathing. And if you like, loosening your arms. You may like to give your hands a bit of a shape, maybe your arms. Then if you like, bringing your hands into your line of vision, maybe opening and closing your fingers, maybe opening and closing your hands. And if you like, Perhaps bringing your one hand in contact with your other hand. You might feel the sensation of where your hands make contact with each other. And finding your way back to neutral in your own time. Like finding your expression of standing or seated mountain. And then if you like, moving into a forward fold. So if you're folding forward, you may like to soften your knee and perhaps bring your elbows to your knees. Another option could be to tuck your chin, or maybe moving your knees. At any time, you can move in and out of your forward fold. If you're seated, what you may like to do is bring your hands to your knees, maybe tucking your chin, perhaps bringing your hands further down towards your feet. This is your choice. Maybe leaning forward, maybe moving in and out of your forward fold, and breathing. Perhaps noticing your breath is with you. Finding your way to upright in your own time. And then if you would like to explore Warrior One, maybe moving towards the front of your mat, bringing your awareness to notice where you place your feet, where you make contact with the ground, and perhaps stepping back with one of your feet. You could arrange your hands at your side, maybe out in front. You get to choose. If you are on your chair, maybe moving to the side of your chair, perhaps holding the back, and if you like, extending one foot behind, maybe bringing your hand to your side, or maybe out in front. At any time, you're welcome to switch. Then maybe stepping back with your other foot and breathing. And arranging your arms in a way that's useful for you. Knowing you're always welcome to move in the form. There's no requirement to be still. Finding your way to upright in your own time. And if you would like to explore Warrior Two, if you are seated, what you may like to do is step your feet apart, maybe bringing your hands to your upper legs, perhaps turning one foot to the long edge of your mat, maybe raising your arms, or perhaps leaning forward with your elbow on your knee. If you're standing, you may like to bring your toes to the long edge of the mat, and perhaps turning one foot to the short edge of the mat. So you might like to move, maybe raising your arms, possibly leaning forward, bringing your elbow to your forward-facing knee. If you like, perhaps holding this form for the count of 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Finding your way back to feet together. And if you like, stepping your feet apart, turning one foot to face the short edge of your mat, Arranging your arms in a way that's useful for you, maybe extended, perhaps bringing your elbow to your forward-facing leg and breathing. If you like, perhaps holding this form for the count of 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, finding your way back to upright. I nearly missed a balancing form. So balancing can be done on a chair. So what you may like to do is sit on a chair, maybe bring your hands to your upper legs. And if you like, pressing one foot into the ground and maybe lifting your other foot. You might feel sensation under your hands, maybe muscles engaging. So perhaps pressing one foot into the ground, maybe lifting one foot and breathing. So if you're standing, you're welcome to use a chair for support. If you like, shifting your weight, maybe straightening one of your legs, perhaps shifting your weight into that leg, maybe lifting your heel, perhaps lifting your foot, maybe lifting and lowering, or possibly bringing the sole of your foot to the side of your leg. So maybe balancing. And if you're pressing your foot into the ground, you might feel sensation in that leg. Now it's quite normal to wobble. And sometimes it's helpful to find a spot on the wall that's not moving. Noticing that you're breathing. And you're welcome to switch at any time. So maybe shifting your weight to your other leg, straightening that leg, maybe lifting your heel off the ground, maybe your foot, possibly bringing the sole of your foot to the side of your leg, and breathing. So maybe balancing and breathing. Maybe lifting and lowering, possibly wobbling and breathing. Finding your way back to both feet on the ground in your own time. Finding your expression of standing or seated mountain. Perhaps taking a moment in stillness. Then if you like, maybe you doing, the perspiration. Maybe a forward fold with your legs apart. So perhaps bringing your toes to the long edge of your mat and stepping your feet apart. Then if you like, folding forward, maybe using the back of a chair. Knowing how much you fold forward is up to you. So maybe folding forward and breathing. And if you like, moving in and out of the form in your own time. So perhaps leaning forward, maybe breathing, maybe moving in and out of the form. Then if you like, finding your way back to your expression of standing mountain. Maybe moving your feet. Then if you like, exploring bending your knees. So you might have your heels raised, or flat on the ground, maybe bending your knees. If it's available to you, perhaps squatting, maybe bending your knees and possibly holding your mat and breathing. So if you like, bending your knees, maybe squatting and breathing. And in your own time, you might like to move into a seated form, on your mat, on the chair. And you may have your legs crossed or feet together or legs extended. Choice is yours. Crossing your legs, maybe experiment with crossing them the opposite way. And sitting up tall. Finding your expression of seated mountain and breathing. If you'd like to explore a twist, maybe turning your chin to your shoulder. Or perhaps bringing your hand to your opposite knee. Maybe one hand behind you and sitting up tall. If it's available, maybe rotating. Maybe moving your spine and breathing. At any time, you're welcome to move back to centre, perhaps sitting up tall, and then maybe turning your chin to your shoulder, bringing one hand to your opposite knee, perhaps one hand behind you and sitting up tall. And maybe twisting. So you're welcome to switch at any time. Maybe switching from one side to the other, so maybe moving back to centre, turning your chin to your opposite, to your shoulder, bringing your hand to your opposite knee, maybe one hand behind you, sitting up tall. It's available, maybe twisting and breathing. And you might feel sensation in your abdomen, maybe in your torso, or possibly not at all. Maybe twisting and breathing. Finding your way back to your neutral in your own time. If you'd like to explore moving your torso, maybe moving your torso in circles, perhaps in either direction. Or another option could be moving forward and back. Maybe moving forward and back. Or from one side of your mat to the other side of your mat. So in your own time, perhaps exploring moving your torso. And if you are moving, you might notice a change in pressure where you make contact with the ground or the surface beneath you. Possibility. Finding your way back to neutral in your own time. And if you're interested, perhaps exploring a forward fold. So you might have your legs crossed or extended, or maybe soles of the feet together. So you may like to tuck your chin and perhaps bringing your hands to your knees, or maybe hands further down your legs or onto your mat, and breathe in. So if you like, finding folding forward in a way that's useful for you. Perhaps noticing that you're breathing. And if you like, maybe moving to upright and perhaps bringing your hands behind you, maybe leaning back. Anytime you're welcome to move to upright or lean forward. Maybe moving between leaning forward and leaning back, or perhaps staying in one form, maybe leaning forward, or perhaps leaning back and breathing. Then in your own time, finding your way back to your neutral, perhaps extending your legs, and if you like, experimenting with rotating your feet. Move back a bit. Maybe moving your feet in circles. And if you're moving your feet in circles in either direction, you might feel sensation in your legs. It's only a possibility. So maybe moving your feet and breathe in. Our feet carry us around all day and often don't get a lot of attention. Lots of muscles in our feet. Perhaps moving your feet. Then in your own time, perhaps moving onto your abdomen to explore some forms on your front side. If you wish to remain seated, what you may like to do is extend your legs, maybe bend your elbows, perhaps raising your hands, maybe lifting and lowering. If you're on your abdomen, what you may like to do is bring your elbows under your shoulders and perhaps bring your hands to rest on your mat. You might feel the sensation of the mat or the ground under your hands. You might notice that you're breathing. You might feel the sensation of your breath against the mat. It's a possibility. And you could choose whether to look straight ahead, look up, or look down. Maybe choosing where you want to look and breathe in. Perhaps noticing your breath is with you. Maybe feeling sensation in your abdomen. Or perhaps feeling nothing at all. Then in your own time, you may like to rest your forehead on your hands. And perhaps experiment with lifting and lowering your leg. So how much you lift is up to you. So maybe lifting and lowering. Maybe moving your leg. If you're moving your leg, you might feel some sensation. You might feel a change in pressure where your leg makes contact with the ground. Then if you like, maybe bringing your hands close to your shoulders and perhaps moving back into what we sometimes call child form. Maybe sitting back on your ankles, perhaps resting your forehead on your hands, or maybe having your hands extended and breathing. So you're always welcome to move in your resting form. Maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact with the ground. And if you like, maybe finding your way to resting on your back and moving your knees. If you're sitting, you might like to move your knees. If you're lying on your back, there's a few options. One could be to bring your feet flat on the ground close to your torso. But tonight I'm going to offer the opportunity to maybe extend your arms. And then if you like, moving your knees to rest on one side, then looking in the opposite direction and breathing. And then if you like, being guided by your body, perhaps lifting your knees through midline and bringing your knees to rest on your other side and breathing. In your own time, maybe lifting your knees through midline and perhaps looking in the opposite direction and bringing your knees to rest. So that's one option. Another option could be to bring your feet close to your torso on the ground, and perhaps moving your knees from one side of your mat to the other side of your mat. And maybe moving your knees side to side. And breathing. And a third option could be to lift your feet off the ground, maybe bringing your hands around your knees and perhaps moving your knees, maybe forward and back. Oops, one side to the other side. So maybe moving your knees. And if you are moving your knees, there's a possibility you might feel some change in pressure where you make contact with the ground. So if you like, moving your knees and breathing. So the second to last form for tonight is half bridge. So you may like to bring your feet close to your torso, flat on the ground, maybe pressing your feet into the ground, maybe lifting your torso, perhaps raising your arms, maybe lifting and lowering. So if you like, pressing your feet into the ground, maybe lifting and lowering. And you might feel sensation in your feet, maybe in your legs, possibly not at all. So if you're interested, exploring half bridge, putting your feet into the ground, maybe lifting your torso. So the next form I'm going to offer is one for the times we're in. It's one that is said to help our lymph system to kind of do a flush. What that means is, sit up. What that means is that it stimulates the lymph to move through the body. Now, lymph is what carries our toxins and bugs and things out, moves them to be excreted and so forth. So if you wanted to explore this one, you're welcome to do it for as long as you like. It looks a little bit odd. And what it is moving your toes. So if you want to watch, you're welcome to do that. So maybe moving your toes forward at the back. And you might notice that your whole body begins to move. So that is one way. That doesn't appeal to you. Another option could be legs up the wall. Legs up the wall tends to bring all of our fluid to our core, and then as we move, it kind of gets a pump throughout the body. So if you want legs up the wall, bring your torso close to the wall, maybe lying down, and perhaps maybe bring your legs up the wall. So this resting form is sometimes seen as a useful resting form, and that it equates to half an hour's sleep after 5 minutes. So they say. Okay, so I'm going to offer a body scan exercise, a slightly longer body scan exercise. You're welcome to follow my voice or my words, maybe taking your mind to that part, or perhaps moving that part, or maybe taking your hand to that part. So if you like, following the body scan exercise, or maybe tuning out. So taking a moment to find the resting form that works for you. Maybe binding a blanket if you feel a bit cold. Perhaps taking a breath. And as you breathe out, maybe bringing your awareness to notice where you make contact to the ground or the surface beneath you. As your breath comes again, as you breathe out, you may like to bring your awareness to notice the support of the surface beneath you. Then, if you like, bringing your awareness to notice sensation at your eyebrow center. Sensation in the whole of your right eye. Sensation in the whole of your left eye. Sensation at the tip of your nose. Sensation at your lips. Sensation in your jaw, maybe moving your jaw. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your right shoulder. Sensation in your right elbow. Sensation in the whole of your right hand. Sensation in your right elbow. Sensation in your right shoulder. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your left shoulder. Sensation in your left elbow. Sensation in the whole of your left hand. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your right ribs. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your left ribs. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your abdomen. Sensation in your right rib, your right hip joint. Sensation in your right knee. Sensation in the whole of your right foot. Sensation in your right knee. Sensation in your right hip joint. Sensation in your abdomen. Sensation in your left hip joint. Sensation in your left knee. Sensation in the whole of your left foot. Sensation in your left knee. Sensation in your left hip joint. Sensation in your abdomen. Sensation in your heart center. Sensation in your neck. Sensation in your jaw. Sensation at your eyebrow center. Sensation in the whole of your body. Sensation in your entire body. Sensation in the whole of your body all together. I'm going to offer some silence now, and then I'll ring the chime with an opportunity to close your practice. So do know there's no hurry to move, nowhere to go, just a moment to take to acknowledge your practice. When you do decide to move, maybe rolling to your side, perhaps wriggling your fingers and toes. And if you like, taking a moment to acknowledge your practice, your intention, your purpose. It may be to nurture yourself. It might be to befriend your body, or perhaps connect with yourself. in your own time, taking a moment to maybe acknowledge your practice. So thank you for practicing with me. I have images of your faces in the space. Take care, travel safe. I'll be here next week, hopefully on YouTube, which I believe will be a more stable platform. Travel safe. Ka kite rā. I'm going to remain seated on my mat here for 5 minutes, and this video will remain up probably for another up to 24 hours. Farewell.